Good morning. I am Jaime Elizondo from Real World Ranching. I hope you're having a good day and are ready to take advantage of the opportunities of this day, this week, this month, and this year. Today, I want to talk about that transcendental topic, not only for your farming family, but also for the whole world in which we live. Something that I have been thinking of more as I see how degraded we are living the world we live in for the next generations. Why is it so important to think about the world we live in? Simply because the world as a whole is a closed ecosystem, and what we do or fail to do has an impact, for better or for worse, on other human beings within this closed ecosystem. Let's think about this a little. Will my actions be important to other people on the other side of the planet, or are the actions of those people on the other side of the planet important to me and my local ecosystem? The more we consider this, thinking it through, we will see that planet Earth forms a single ecosystem composed of all the biomes and environments in the world, where what happens in a certain area affects many other areas or zones of the planet. We must want to help. And as a second step, we must know what to do and how to help in order to be effective. It is not just about us feeling good, but actually doing something effective. And it doesn't matter if you have a large or a small farm. Even if you don't have a farm, you can have an effective influence with your actions, purchase, and lifestyle decisions. If we think about it, we will see that there are certain actions that we can take to achieve a greater impact. One, do not use poisons or synthetic fertilizers on our farms, patios, or lawns, and inside our houses. This is very important because we can break the balance between beneficial and harmful insects by killing them all, and then the harmful insects come back with a vengeance. In addition to the damage caused to water, humans, our livestock, wildlife, soil microorganisms, and our pets. We can always find alternatives to the use of poisons to control pests, and even more so if we achieve a high enough nutritional quality in our products that pest insects cannot digest, because pest insects have a very simple digestive system that requires very simple molecules, such as those obtained in the produce or grass when applying synthetic fertilizers or insecticides that kill soil life. So we must also stop using synthetic fertilizers. And practical examples abound. Powder borax in corners of rooms to control cockroaches, entomopathogenic fungi for tick control, genetic resistance for parasites and diseases in our livestock, Bacillus thuringiensis for control of worm, armyworm, and inchworm, Nosema locusti, a protozoan that kills grasshoppers and locusts and comes in spores to put on baits that attract grasshoppers. Then they die when they eat it. And when other grasshoppers or locusts eat them, they also die. So it spreads very fast. We can use garlic to repel insects and treat sick animals, neem extract, pepper extract, etc. And instead of synthetic fertilizers, we can grow more humus with good grazing practices on pasture land where we can carry a very high stocking rate without overgrazing. Then that pasture land, after a few years of improving and increasing the humus, can be used for crop production for less number of years, and then we rotate the crop production with the pastures managed in this way, and that way we can become self-sufficient, and we do not need high-cost inputs. 2, capture carbon from the air. We can all help in this. The fastest method of capturing carbon from the air, carbon that should be in the ground in the form of humus, fulfilling its function of trapping and retaining water and improving the land for even greater productivity, is with livestock grazing. How is this achieved? By photosynthesis of green leaves, of course. Green leaves produce energy by photosynthesis and feed microorganisms in the soil by the way of root exudates, which in turn make nutrients available to the plants. But did you know that when these microorganisms decompose and in the last digestion are digested by fungi, they become humus? Up to 80% of the new carbon captured by the soil comes from these bodies of tiny microorganisms digested by several generations of other microorganisms, with the last digestion being carried out by fungi. After this last digestion, it goes through an aging process called humification, and then it is stable and lasts up to 100 years in the soil. By then, it is called humus, and it is the true fertility of our soils. And you can achieve this in a large, very large, medium, or small farm. You can achieve it with any species of herbivores, and you can also achieve it on your own lawn at home. Here is what to do to grow more humus in your own lawn with a lawnmower. All you have to do is let the grass in your lawn grow longer so that it forms or creates fat roots full of energy reserves. Then mow flush with the mower and leave the cut grass on the lawn so as not to remove the nutrients. Simple, right? Well, let me tell you, the vast majority of home gardens or lawns in the US use huge amounts of poisons, fungicides, and synthetic fertilizers. This instead of capturing carbon from the air and improving the fertility of those same soils in those lawns. And doing that, the synthetic fertilizers and chemicals degrade the soil and pollutes the groundwater. Also, if you walk barefoot on that lawn, you will contaminate yourself with toxic chemicals. And let's not mention the little ones who play in that garden, our babies. Did you know that home lawns in the USA covers more irrigated acres than any other crop? That is the size of the potential of our impact. And that's why we must educate ourselves. Will that same thing happen on your farm? I mean, letting the grass grow longer and then cut it when it's full of reserves, flush to the ground, and return the nutrients to the soil? Yes, of course. Dewormers. Do you use dewormers or insecticides in your cattle? Synthetic fertilizers on your forages that are then going to be attracted to pest insects? You see, it is good to study basic plant physiology and understand how soil and soil life works, so we can take actions that help increase soil life rather than kill it. When grazing with livestock, the same thing happens as with the grass in your lawn, which regenerates and produces fat roots if it is allowed to grow longer between cuts of grazing that must be short to achieve good regrowth with a high amount of leaves. And of course, with livestock, it gets a little more complicated than with grass on a lawn with a lawnmower, as livestock tend to seek the best and leave the rest behind if we allow them to do that. That is not the best thing for soil life or for grass or for field productivity, nor for sequestering carbon from the air into the soil in the form of humus. My students of the Total Grazing program have this very clear because they know in detail how the plant works in its photosynthesis under herbivore grazing and how more carbon is captured from the air into the soil with a great diversity of life in the soil. Would you like to help improve the environment for everyone? It is very simple, and if it also helps you increase your productivity or even just stop using poisons on your lawn, it will be a win-win for everyone. If you know of someone who could benefit from or is interested in this podcast, please share the link. What will be more important in the long run? Capture carbon and stop using poisons on our land and in the production of our food, or use more of the alternative means of transportation and recycle waste. The truth is that it does not matter. We must do everything possible to leave a better planet for our future generations. So let's recap. Oh no, not recap yet. 3, if you do not have a farm or lawn, you can still help with the decisions you make when buying your food, trying to support food and clothes production without poisons in a regenerative way, that it produces increased humus in the soil. Because let me clarify that producing meat and milk in a regenerative way using the total grazing program is how more carbon is captured from the air per acre per year. Summary and conclusions to help improve our surroundings and environment. Number 1, stop the use of chemicals, poisons, synthetic fertilizers on our farms, lawns, and inside our houses. 2, capture carbon from the air into our soils through photosynthesis. For this, it is important to know how humus is formed, which is the stable fraction of organic matter that lasts up to 100 years. The total grazing program with adapted livestock will put more carbon per acre per year into the ground than other approaches, making the soil better and more productive with high quality produce. 3, support with your food and clothing purchases regenerative producers who are actually capturing carbon from the air in their soils in order to improve the environment. Would you like to help create a better world for our future generations? If you answered yes and you have a farm, I suggest you learn how to implement the total grazing program where we achieve the highest productivity at low cost, avoiding overgrazing, using biological methods, and without using any chemicals or synthetic fertilizers. Well, friends, this is all for today. If you're interested in knowing more about the total grazing program to increase your productivity at a low cost, I invite you to subscribe to my podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my weekly email in www.rwranching.com. See you next time.